Next question is about deadlift and modifying the deadlift program. But before I get into the question itself, I would just want to point out that this is clearly a lifter who's done his homework, who's been very thorough about listening to coaching calls and getting advice and implementing that advice. You'll see what I mean as I go through this. This is, I hope, a model for how to troubleshoot stubborn lifts within the context of guided programming. He says that his deadlift estimated 1 rep max has been stagnant since he started about 6 weeks ago. Squat and bench have been improving steadily. He's now squatting more than he deadlifts. His track scores seem okay, almost always in the continue training as normal range. Before this RTS program, he was using Texas method, which did not include much pulling, between 5 and 10 reps a week. His deadlift progress wasn't very good using a program like that. Weak point analysis in the deadlift shows that his weakness is around the knees, just below the knees. He generally pulls his third attempts a bit higher than that before he fails to lock out. Things that he's tried in the past, adding a day between competition squats and deadlifts, so making sure that he's well rested before he deadlifts. That didn't result in any improvement in his competition deadlift performance. He's tried emphasizing a flat back position as he pulls, and he's not always successful at that, but that's one thing that he's focusing on technically. More of a toes out, knees out stance to allow for better lumbar extension, and using a 3-inch belt instead of a 4-inch belt. He says that for pause deadlifts, he's pausing just below the knee, and he sent me some video as well, both training and competition video, and asked what I think, what can he modify to get his deadlift rolling. So as you can see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's super comprehensive. It's clear that he's been very thorough in his own analysis and taking charge of his own program. This is exactly the kind of person who succeeds very well on guided programming. So with that said, let's fix this deadlift and make sure that the deadlift is not the thing holding your total back. Excuse me. The biggest thing that I noticed, in reading your email here, is that there's just a slight divergence in focus for you. On one hand, we want the estimated 1 rep max to go up. On the other hand, you're focusing on technical improvements and making sure that you're maintaining a flat back position. And those are just a little bit at odds, especially this particular set of issues. Fixing a back position in the deadlift is really difficult. For somebody who's just naturally a round back deadlifter to go to being a flat back deadlifter, which is what you're trying to do, that's a really difficult transition to make. And since you're having to focus hard on maintaining good technique in training, that makes it more difficult for you to focus enough on load and just getting strong to result in improvements in your estimated 1 rep max. So a couple things. I think it's good that you're focusing on maintaining a flat back position. I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good thing for you to focus on. Keep doing that. The second thing would be patient on your estimated 1 rep max. Keep doing what you're doing in terms of training the deadlift, and getting that deadlift moving. Take what's there. I want you to focus on improving that estimated 1 rep max in the context of a flat back position. So take whatever you're able to perform with a perfect position, perfectly flat back position, and then do that. Okay? Maintain that and focus on using that technique and getting that estimated 1 rep max to improve. So make some small improvements from 1 week to the next on that flat back position. Now, since that's the focus for you, that's our barometer. Since you're working on improving that technique, our barometer is estimated 1 rep max in the flat back deadlift. We have to consider it a separate movement from anything else. Now, if you're already doing that and that's not moving forward for you, then the next step is going to be to address those muscles a little bit more specifically. The deadlift training in the group that you're in is pretty compound lift focused. There's competition style deadlifting, there's deadlifting assistance work, there is deadlifting supplemental work as well. However, it tends to focus more on rowing. This is useful for a lot of people and necessary for a lot of others, but for you in particular, I think your time will be better spent focusing on posterior chain work. So find a movement, pick a movement that targets your posterior chain. We can be doing deadlifts, snatch grip, straight leg deadlifts, or straight leg deadlifts, snatch grip, straight leg deadlifts, good mornings, any movement that kind of fits that general movement pattern, okay? Something that's going to target your lower back and glutes primarily. I want you to train that in place of the rows for 3 weeks at a time. Okay, so say for this 3-week block you picked snatch grip straight leg deadlifts. So you're going to do that movement for 3 weeks, and then you're going to rotate to a different movement. That should help get things rolling a bit. Keep in mind that changing your back position is a stubborn thing. It's going to take a little while to get it right. So maintain perfect technique in your day-to-day training and your competition lift training, and the same with your assistance work. We're just going to add in some supplemental work that will hopefully bring those muscle groups along and allow you to make this transition a little bit easier.